Hello, everyone. This is Nathan Bridges from Nathan's Nuggets, and today I'm with TCU correspondent Trent Battle. Thank you for joining me today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
No problem. I'll start with the first question. How old were you when you first started playing football?
I think I was around 8 years old when I first started playing.
So you've been playing for a while.
Yeah, I've been playing for a little while now.
Did you play any other sports?
Yeah, when I was little, around that same time, I played basketball, baseball, and soccer.
Oh, wow, you played four sports. That's a lot.
Yeah, yeah, it was.
And like soccer's at a similar time to football.
Yeah, it was kind of weird because it was like I had a time where like I stopped playing football when I was little, and I played soccer that year, and then I was like, yeah, it's not for me, and I went back to football.
So you took a break, and you tried soccer.
Yeah, that's how I did it.
Growing up in Alabama where football is important, did that make you always want to play football?
Not really, cause like I said a second ago, like when I was 8, I was like my first year playing football, I actually played center,
Oh,
and I
really?
was like, yeah. And after that year, I was like, I don't really know if I want to do this anymore, so I just didn't play the next year. And then like all my friends were playing football, and so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go back and play with my friends because I didn't really like soccer that much. So
That's funny that you played center your first year.
yeah, it was.
What was your first experience at quarterback like?
Well, for me, I didn't actually play quarterback till I was like 10 because like I said, I played center, and then I didn't really get back into the quarterback position till I was 10, and our quarterback got hurt on our team, and the coaches were like, "Well, Trent's smart, so let's put him back there at quarterback." And so they just kind of put me back there, and I fell in love with the position ever since.
So that was the good thing they had you play quarterback.
Yeah, it was. It kind of ended up really good for me.
How would you say you've developed as a quarterback over your career?
Well, there's been a lot of development really because when I was little, I think like in my little league, I maybe threw like 2 passes. I didn't throw the ball a whole lot. All we did was like read option and triple option and stuff, and I ran the ball a whole bunch. But really, I feel like the change came my freshman year going into my sophomore year because I really made like a dramatic change with my throwing and being able to throw the ball and being accurate.
So you at first, like when you're younger, you just ran it a lot.
Yeah, that's all we did was run the ball.
What's it like playing quarterback who also has to lead the team?
Oh well, it's definitely not easy. Like you kind of have to have that first guy in, last man out mentality. You have to put your teammates ahead of you, and you have to kind of watch your teammates during the games, making sure they're staying up, making sure everybody's like feeling good, even when things are going bad. Because it's easy to feel good when things are going good, but it's hard to keep everybody together when everything's going bad.
So you have to like at all times you have to like make sure they're feeling good about the at the time.
Yeah, and part of that's just being consistent, keeping the same energy. Like with me, I make sure my guys know like I don't change. Like I'm unfazed during the game. I don't change. I keep like a cool head and a calm mind during the game.
Like that you're going 100% at all times.
Yeah, yeah.
What was your first season doing varsity football like?
Oh well, it was kind of different because for me, like my first year playing varsity, I started at wide receiver as a freshman, and so my coach like as a freshman, I was like I wanted to play quarterback, and then he knew I wanted to play quarterback. So I was like, Coach, I don't really know. I kind of want to play quarterback. And he was like, Well, I'll make a deal with you. He said, I'll let you play JV quarterback as a freshman instead of freshman quarterback if you play varsity wide receiver. And so I was like, All right, you have a deal. But it turns out I only ended up playing like 3 games JV because he didn't want me to get hurt and wanted me to play on Friday nights.
Oh
So
really? So he
yeah,
wanted you to play varsity as a
yeah,
wide
he
receiver?
did.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Is there any certain team you get the most typed up for when you play them?
For me, it would probably be Fairhope because they have a guy named Riley Leonard. He's their quarterback, and me and him have been like playing against each other since we were little. And he's going to Duke too, and so like we've always just like that game's always been big. This year, I think it was like the most hyped up it's ever been because we were both committed, and it's both our senior years, and so like that game, I've always just naturally been able to get myself hyped up to play in.
So like a friendly rivalry for a while.
Yeah, that's really what it's been. Yeah.
What are your biggest strengths on the field?
For me, I think my biggest strength is being able to when like the pocket collapses, make plays outside of the pocket, and more like on the run, throwing the ball, or like making people miss to get a first down or something like that.
It's like you're able to keep the play going when it's breaking down.
Yeah.
What made you pick TCU?
Oh well, when I went down there in January, first like I didn't have like a dream school where like if they offered me, I was immediately gonna want to go there, and so I just kind of was like playing everything by ear. And for me, a big thing was like connections and people and like how people like interacted with me and seeing who really wanted me and stuff like that. And they checked up on me pretty much like every other day. And so I was like, I kind of liked that a lot. And then I went down there in January and I got to talk to the offensive coordinator, Sonny Cumby, and I got to talk to a bunch of the coaches. And when I sat in the offensive meeting room and we like watched the film and they showed me what they did on offense, it was really similar to what like my offensive coordinator does with me here. And so like that kind of made that was like another thing where I was like, okay, like I can get here and probably learn the playbook really easy because we kind of run the same thing they do. And so like and then they use a running quarterback like we do. And it was kind of the exact same thing I do here, which made it really easy for me to decide.
So it'll be like easier for you learning that playbook since you pretty much do it in high school.
Yeah, that's really what it is.
What do you think it'll be like playing for TCU and in the Big 12?
I think it'll be really different. It's definitely like football in Texas is really big. People say it's big in Alabama, but football in Texas is really big. And so I think it'll be really exciting and it'll be a fun experience.
Texas is probably the state that loves football the most.
Yeah, I think it is.
That would be fun though. Everyone will be like, they all pay attention to it.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a good crowd and good stuff. People will always be like cheering you on and stuff like that. That's big.
What was your biggest learning experience from this last season, going 11-2, but falling short in a close game in the second round of playoffs?
Well, for me, I would say my biggest learning experience was probably realizing, like, because I feel like when I first got out in the season, I felt like I tried to do too much. Like, I felt like I was thinking I had to go out there and do everything like by myself, and I didn't. I had teammates, and they had my back and everything like that. And so I think for me, it was finding like the happy medium of knowing when to try and go do something that I probably need to, and when I don't need to do something extra. And so that was probably for me my biggest learning experience.
So at first you thought you had to like do everything for the team.
Yeah, it's probably trying to put the team on my back when I didn't need to.
Now that your senior season is over, how are you going to prepare to get ready for TCU?
Well, I actually just started. I just like they gave me a week off to rest and recover from the season and like get all the ailments and illnesses out of my body and stuff and let me recover. But now I'm getting ready this week. Starting this week, I'm getting ready to start working back out with my head coach, strength and conditioning coach, to get physically bigger and stronger and faster. And then I'm going to start working out with my training coach, my quarterback coach in Mobile, David Morris, to get back right with quarterbacking before I go.
So you're gonna work on like all of it, like getting stronger and at the quarterback play.
Yep, pretty much everything.
What is the best game you had in your high school career?
Uh, that's a tough one. It would probably have to be my junior year against St. Paul's. I kind of that game offensively we kind of just lit it up. I think I had like almost 300 yards passing with 5 passing touchdowns. Or it would have to be Spanish Fort my junior year where I had like 4 touchdowns. I think I had 2 passing, 2 rushing, and I had like over 300 yards of total offense. Those are kind of two of my best games.
Wow, those are huge stats.
Yeah, thank you.
Who is your favorite football player as a kid?
Well, as a kid, it's kind of different for me because like I grew up and my biggest like my team that like I fell in love with was Boise State because they had a blue field, and so it was like I grew up watching Kellen Mond play on that blue field, and he was like I became a really big fan of it because of the blue field,
So
and then
you're
he came down here to play in the Senior Bowl because like the Senior Bowl's in Mobile every year, and that's like 30 minutes away from where I live, and so he came down here to the Senior Bowl, and I got to meet him at the Senior Bowl and stuff like that, and so he was probably my favorite player growing up.
so you became a Boise State fan?
Yeah, I was a big Boise State fan when I was little.
Where I live in Fresno, California, they don't like Boise State because
I
they're
bet.
they're big rivals with them.
Yeah, that's funny.
Do you try to model your game after anyone?
Well, I kind of feel like I think I try to model my game after two people. Like I try to throw the ball like Deshaun Watson, and I try to run the ball like Lamar Jackson.
Oh, those are two good quarterbacks to model your game after.
Yeah,
One time I saw Deshaun Watson walking when I was at Clemson once because I was with my cousins and we saw him walk by.
that's crazy.
How would you describe yourself off the field?
Off the field, I feel like I'm probably, if I had to describe myself, I'm a fun guy to be around. I'm funny, and then I'm respectable, and I'm just good to have around.
So you're like a good person to have around.
Yeah.
Then the last question I have is for fun. You get to take any three NFL players to dinner. They can be past or present. Who are you taking?
For me, I would probably take Lamar because like that's kind of who I look up to, Deshaun, and then the third guy I would probably go with Deion Sanders just because of his personality and he'd be
Hmm.
fun to be around.
Neon Dion.
Yep.
That he would be a fun one to have it with. And then you
Yeah.
get your
That's
two favorite quarterbacks.
yeah. That would just be a fun night for me.
All right, thanks for joining me today. Those are all the questions I have.
All right. No problem. Thank you for having me.